The Miles Pod.
Jared Gibson, welcome to the Miles Pod. How are you, sir?
I'm good. And yourself?
Fantastic. Did you hear about Adrian Griffin getting fired?
Yeah, not too happy with that. I kind of I know I've had a relationship with Adrian in the past. His son used to play with my team back in the day until they moved to New York. And he's a good guy, and I just felt like the firing. There must be something inside that is going on because for a person to get fired. Second in the East, almost like the first or close to being the best record in the league. I don't think that you should be fired for that. So there's something else going on that they're not talking about right now. But I don't think that it was he should have been fired for that.
So you think it was something personal, like with him and a player, or him with management?
Well, I think to me, I think Giannis didn't have say so in this hiring, and I think that um, it was Giannis came off and played as if he had some type of attitude, a different attitude this year, and I think it was due to him, saying with the hiring of Adrian Griffin. I've seen a couple of games that he'll just check himself in, and him and Adrian are always arguing. So I think it was Giannis who, was like, you know what, I'm done. And I know he's up for a contract soon, I think. So, that could have something to it that they want to make sure that he's happy and keep him here.
I agree with you. I think something's different with Giannis. I mean, how many coaches have they gone through in like the last 3 years?
Yeah, and I it's Giannis, but I don't think he also approved the Dame trade. I didn't like the trade. I know Jay Crowder just came back, and that's supposed to be their defensive stopper, but I think Drew Holiday was the perfect fit for this group. And they may have needed a new coach. I think Doc is supposed to be coming in, but
Wow.
I think that it's just the defensive process is not there anymore, and that's what the issue is right now.
Let's rewind here because you said something very interesting, and you said it very casual, like as if it's just part of your daily routine. But his son played for his son played for you.
Yeah. So Adrian or AJ Griffin. So I used to when I first started coaching at AAU basketball. My son was in third, fourth grade, and we had a pretty good team, and they we played for Joy the Game, which was in like Deerfield at the time, and my son and Adrian, um, Blake Peters, that you should know it from Evanston basketball and Princeton basketball right now, and a couple other guys who have gone and played collegiate sports somewhere. But yeah, AJ, you can tell from the beginning that he was going to be a pro. Like he's hit a multiple game winners from third to fifth grade, and then when he came over to our program, he did some big things. And then dad, that's when his dad was on the Bulls coaching staff, and he ended up going to Orlando, and mom went to New York. So that's when we ended up losing him. I think that was seventh grade year. But yeah, we had a couple guys who and I coached that played right now currently in the league. So it's crazy.
Can you divulge who those kids are now and
Um, yeah. So AJ Griffin, I think he's on the Hawks right now still. I know he's looking for a trade. Pat Baldwin, he's on drafted by the Wizards. I mean, Golden State, and now is currently on the Wizards, and then Max Christie, who is currently on the Lakers right now.
so how do you, at an early age, do you see right away? Like this is for any parent or any hooper right now listening to this. Do you see the chemistry, the makeup of a pro player in these kids starting at that age, third, fourth, fifth grade, sixth, seventh grade? Do you see that as a coach? Can you identify it?
Um, there are kids who you can see the potential of it, and especially like Adrian. His mom was a track star. Dad played professional basketball, and you can see that he had the focus there. It was already there. And Dad was always there to support and also, showed him the little ropes. His brother also played um, high major basketball. I think he's in the G League as well. But you can see how they take certain things, how they prepare for games, even at a young age. Like there's kids now that just come to the games and just put their shoes on and then they're ready to play. Like Adrian took it like a high school kid would stretch, um, work on inside out, form shooting first. And, the preparation of it shows that, okay, he knows what he needs to do to prepare to get to the next level. And you see those things. And then how he just takes the game and how he communicates how he was communicating at a young level. And most guys at the high school level don't do that. So you can see it when you have these guys, and you can see like who may be a Division I player, um, or a Division I athlete. Just how they take a lot of it is how their parents handle things, and also how the kids prepare for the game as well. And it also goes into good coaching. I think that if myself and my partner at the time, we didn't prepare the kids. If we didn't prepare the kids the right way, they probably wouldn't have been as good as they were.
I believe you had a team that was nationally recognized for quite some time. Can you tell me about that team and that experience?
Yeah. So that would have been, I don't know. My son's 21 now, and that group graduated in 2021. As freshmen, they were the number one team in the country. At the time, we were a program, Hoop Avenues Elite, which is currently Powerhouse Sports right now. But we had a lot of Division I guys, and which we had my son Jalen Gibson, Max Christie, Blake Peters, um, Tevin Smith, who's currently at Cleveland State. Um, um, we had a big kid. I forgot what is his name? Drawing a blank right now. But from Kentucky, he was 7 foot. He's at Robert Morris right now. Trey, big Trey. Trey, he played on that team as well. And then we had other guys that went and played Division I baseball and football on our team as well. But from a young age, we added John Polikitis, who also was at Yale, Blake Peters was at Princeton. But we also, the one thing from a young age, these guys were basically battle tested. We had no competition in our area. So whether it be from Indiana to Milwaukee or Wisconsin, there was no team that can compete with us on our grade level or the grade above. So we had to travel across the country, and we went into different leagues and tournaments and just dominated at every level. And we made a name for ourselves and the program at that time. So yeah, it was a fun journey. Um, running around the country with these guys, fun guys. Sorry, Kamari Wilson as well. He goes to that's the D1 school in Texas as well. So yeah, we just had a lot of talent on that group. Ahmad Bynum, he was also in that group. He was at DePaul. So yeah, I'm just remembering the names right now.
Wow.
So, but yeah, it was a fun group. Um, they took this serious. Like a lot of times you get kids who come into AAU practice and they don't show up, or they'll just show up to games. These guys were committed. We had kids from all over the state that would come to our practices to make sure that they were prepared to play in the tournament that following week or wherever state we were going to. And then they took it as a business trip. Like they like to have fun, but they also knew how to prepare and was ready for when we got there. We were there for business, and that's always good as a coach to have that, those type of players around. It's easy to coach those guys. I'm thinking about Logan Duncan, went to Indiana, was at Xavier. Um, uh, Jake Wolf, he went to WashU. But the one thing is that these guys were together since third, fourth grade, and then we added pieces here and there to continue to make the team better. So they were like best friends the whole time through. They still communicate to each other. to this day. I still get calls from these guys all the time, birthdays, Father's
Wow.
Day. So they were always just good kids, and like you need good character kids and kids who like each other, because if you don't have that, then you won't have a successful team. And the guys always did things together, stayed at each other's houses, and it was never, saying any issues. So I never had to deal with that. More so now because of NIL deals and different contracts that people can get, and also scholarships and the way things are. Everybody wants everything now instead of working for it, and that's what we dealing with now with kids and parents, because they want the instant gratification now and not the other part of it, the work part of it.
Would you describe that as being accurate, where you either have the entitlement kids or the kids who are like super skilled beyond their years?
Yeah, we hit it on the nail. I think there's a couple kids who just say this eighth grade group. One kid stays in the gym, constantly calls to see if he can get in the gym somewhere to get up shots after school, and he's pushing himself. And then there's a lot of guys who we have, let's just say on my freshman team, that they're looking for the likes.
So you got kids that want to be YouTubers essentially, and then you have kids that actually want to get to the next level and they're doing things above and beyond. Like I said, they're going with the celebrity trainers, they're approaching you, asking you for individual workouts. So that's pretty much what's going on.
I had this conversation with the eighth graders, like, I don't have the conversation with the parents anymore. I conversate with you guys and you communicate with your parents. I don't do emails. I don't do the text messages telling me how I should coach. I don't tell them how they do their job. And, and I'm pretty sure that if I was to, you know, uh, go to their job, they wouldn't like me trying to tell them how to do their job. So if they're not going to hold their kid accountable and have that conversation with them, then don't call me.
Kind of jumping back to your AAU run, and obviously you're still running an AAU program. What is the stepping stones for anybody that wants to start a program? Maybe they feel like their kid is, have some gifts and they know a bunch of kids in their neighborhood that have gifts and they want to start an AAU program. What's like the first step to doing that?
um, First, don't start it. Come to me. No, I'm just playing. but but nah, the one thing is that um, the main thing, that the first start off is make sure that you have some kids who are willing to buy into what you're selling. And it's not really selling; it's just that you have a certain kids that you believe that are good and you want to work with and train and get them better and get them the exposure. Then saying get a get a group of kids to do that. But the main thing is to make sure that you have a good group of a good team around you. I feel like when we originally started Hooper Avenue's Elite, Nibber White and Rudy Mayo, um, we all had our things that we were good at, which helped the program grow from there. And we brought in like-minded people to help coach and also bring in ideas so we can continue to grow the program. I think that's the main thing. And then also I feel like one way to continue to build your program is to have great coaches. And it's not about the kids. And you can have a lot of bad kids, a lot of bad teams, but as long as you have good people and good coaches that are willing to teach and help these kids learn the game, then your program will still grow from there. Because the coaches bring in the players, and nobody's coming to just play for a program. They're coming to play because the word is that these guys care about these kids and they care about getting these kids better. And I think that we have a couple guys in our program who are like that and also like minded to continue to grow the program.
So, okay, let's say I have eight kids on board, their families are on board. we got our team name. We're the Ducks. What's the next step to getting into a tournament? Like, how do you register to be in an AAU tournament?
Yeah, so right now, with you can always find some. Google it online. You find the elite, and a lot of these kids always talk about what tournaments they're in. So you can always find them online and find out um, what's the link, and then also you can just pay and register online at the tournament website. Um, so from there, you just find out what division you want to play in. Most of these tournaments have A and B divisions, so if you're not sure what your team would look like, you can always put them in the B division just for the first tournament to kind of gauge where your talent level is at on your team, and from there, you know, you can just continue to find. And if you have an elite team, then you're basically gonna find those elite tournaments, whether in your area or surrounding states, to give these guys some type of competition.
So forgive me for being a little taboo and controversial with my next question, but do you think in a weird, strange way that perhaps an argument could be made that a lot of youth sports is kind of like acceptable profiteering off children?
Oh, most definitely. I think that um, this is the next star player somewhere in here. Out of these 1,000 kids, is the next star player in here somewhere, and we need to make sure that he stays with our brand. And whatever he needs right now, we'll make sure we take care of it. And when he becomes that NBA player, he can always say, "Yo, Nike took care of me," or Adidas took care of me, or Under Armour took care of me. So um, there's a motive to having these brand leagues, um, because they're looking long term that this kid is going to pan out and be a superstar. Now it doesn't always work out that way. Um, like Anthony Edwards played on the Under Armour circuit, but he's with Adidas. So it's just also who also has the best pitch. But the goal, the plan of these leagues are to um, get the best players in our league, and then also show them to make sure they either go to one of our brand schools, and then also go to where our brand at the next level, whether it be in the NBA or overseas.
That's wild that that kind of approach is taken towards convincing, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 year olds. I mean, don't you think it's getting a little out of control? Like, our
Um,
our our kids' childhoods being taken away from them? I'm just speaking as if I'm an outsider looking into this industry.
Yeah, I mean, I do believe that a kid's childhood are taken away. Sometimes I look at it that like I have a daughter who is 16, and my son, like I say, is 21 right now playing college basketball. A lot of his life revolves around basketball. Our life revolves around basketball. So, sometimes um the things that I see kids do now, or my daughter is able to do, my son was never able to do it because it was constantly in the gym. It was constantly at a basketball tournament, um, high school basketball game tournament, or something going on, that those events or those moments that you think about that should happen never happen because, you know, basketball consumes, or a sport can consume your whole life. When you're young, when you're talented and you see potential, you know, you continue to drive and push yourself to stay in that moment that you're gonna miss out on so much. And at the end of the day, if it all pans out and works out, then it was worth it. But some of these guys, it all doesn't work out for them. So um, then they're questioning, like, was this really worth it?
You were recently, well, I would say fairly recently, you got a lot of exposure for making the decision. I think this was during COVID, to actually have your son go to a school in Texas. I mean, what was that like?
Um, I feel so at the time, COVID hit, and Illinois was, which the team that he was on here at Evanston Township, we went downstate twice. His junior year, um, that group was on the verge of going downstate 3 years in a row, and probably had the best chance of winning state that year, and it was cut off due to COVID. But we weren't sure if we were going to have a season, and I think we didn't play until March or something here in Illinois. But they were still playing down south. Through a friend, I met one of the coaches down there in Texas, in Spring, Texas. He went to school Legacy there, and they were still going to play, and they were still traveling, and they were and my son had 4 offers at the time, and all 4 were basically pulled due to not knowing what was going to happen, and then the transfer portal happened. So basically, I needed him to have the exposure and still be able to play. So he played some talented guys: Imani Bates, Keontae George, Boopy Muller, he's at Wake Forest right now, and he was on one of my teams as well that we played. But he went to a prep school in Florida, and they also got to play each other. But it's one of those things, like, I don't think he would have got the opportunity or a scholarship offer if he had stayed here, because we weren't playing basketball. So it was, I had to make sure I put my son in the best situation to make sure that uh, he had the opportunity to showcase what he did, and he ended up um, landing at Mount St. Mary in Maryland at the time. So I think it was beneficial for him to leave at that time, and I think we made the best decision for him for his basketball career.
I mean, but how did he take that? Like, he's being away from everything he knows in a totally new environment, totally different culture, right? I mean, how did he take that, really?
So we had the conversation. We sat down and talked, and he was game for it. He's to like I said, we've been traveling around the country since third, fourth grade. So to him, it was basically like another AAU trip. All right, we're just going a
Mm.
little longer. With it being COVID, all the guys that were here were basically still in the house, because everybody was no school, everything was online, and so um, we were able to travel. So it was still, we were away from home, but we did a lot of traveling back and forth down there to be able to watch his games. And like I said, they were doing a lot of traveling themselves. So we were able to go and visit and see his games a lot. But so we could still, he had familiar faces around. We had family down there as well. So it all worked out. But like I said, it was like AAU basketball, new players. You're always going to play with somebody different. And um, on that team, they had 7 Division I basketball players. So and it was it was like 5 transfers that came in as well that came to the school. So everybody had to buy in. Everybody was new. He built a lot of relationships that he still has from that team, and he had a good experience from it.
Did he ever call you one night and was like, "Hey, Dad, like, I'm done. Like, I just want to come home."
Um, I think when he was his freshman to sophomore year in sophomore year in college, so he had had that moment that he was just like, I'm ready. And a lot of it is just because you know when the guys who recruited him earlier actually watched him play basketball. When you don't watch somebody play basketball and you're not one of their top guys, you kind of have to do what is being told instead of. I mean, you still have to do what you're being told, but they don't know what type of player you are, so you kind of have those kind of issues, that um, conflicts of, like, I know I'm better than this player, but you're allowing him to do whatever he wants to do to play his game, and you won't allow me to play my game. So sometimes when you get put in a box, it kind of, kind of puts you down sometimes. And when it's like nothing you can do is right, then you kind of have an issue at times. So he had that moment, and we had, to talk to him and let him know, like, you just have to continue to work and continue to build. And he made it through the season, and But now, he transferred over to Eastern Illinois, and um, you know, he's learning a new process over there as well. So,
Do you think that this trend will continue of now? I know COVID kind of kick-started a bunch of kids transferring schools cross country, which I didn't really see too much of that beforehand. But do you see that trend kind of getting bigger? Like kids going to these different schools, going to prolific prep and going to that one school in Brandon, Florida. What is that school?
Mount Verde or
Yeah,
IMG.
IMG, Mount Verde. Do you see kids leaving everything they know behind and going to California school or going to a school in Florida to get the exposure?
Yeah, I believe that I mean, especially in Chicago basketball, a lot of our better players leave to go to these schools. But excuse me, I feel like it's going to continue just because I feel like looking at it for my son going to that to the prep school down in Texas, the exposure that they give. If your child is talented enough to play on that level, I think that is the best thing for them to go play. Um, you know, every kid is not built for that. But like I said, they play so much AAU basketball that it's like it's just basically another trip, regardless of where you're at. So, everything is online, so parents can watch or even travel. But everything is convenient now, so you're able to you're really never away from family and friends because you can FaceTime, you can go to the games, you can watch the games online, and that's the best thing about it right now. So, but if I feel like it's going to continue because there are kids who are talented enough, and they may not be getting the exposure that they need at their school, their current school that they're at. So people will continue to find an avenue to um, get that exposure or play the best talent.
Do you feel that exists at your current school program that you coach at?
Um, right now, we don't have the
Like
talent, but
does the Midwest have schools like that? Because I know it's it seems more prevalent on the East Coast, like in Florida or whatever, and California.
I mean, I think that we have a lot of good talent. Like in the past, we have one video that we play before each game that shows that we've had multiple Division I players, a bunch of college players, and guys who have finished up. So as a program, we've had some talented guys come through here. Um, I think we don't have we have the coaching staff here who helps and pushes kids to get to the next level, and we have some contacts that we make sure that we get those guys to the next level, whether it be in AIA to Division I, if they're at that talent their talent level. But I do think that like Chicago is just there's so much talent and so many guys who don't get the exposure that they know that they have to go somewhere else to get that opportunity to be seen.
What's your advice to parents so that they don't feel like they wasted their time at the end of the road?
Um, Everybody's not going to be a Division I basketball player, but whatever level they play at, I think that they cherish it and appreciate it and continue to work hard at it. But the one thing is that when you do these travel tournaments, find time for your family. Like do things with your family. Go to a restaurant, an amusement park. Make it a vacation so that it's still real, saying not just basketball. It's not all about the sport that they're playing, make it family time as well. Build memories with your family, pictures, videos, all that stuff, so that they have something other than just saying, "Oh, all I did was basketball my whole life," um, and then they'll also cherish those moments as well.
Well, thanks again, Jetter. I appreciate you coming on the show and look forward to having you on again.
All right, man. I appreciate it, man, and keep doing your thing, man.
All right. Thanks, man. God bless. Take care.
All right, man.